Welcome everybody to the Fanmouth Daily Fantasy Quick Hit for June 23rd. I'm Joe Marsh. I'm here by myself today. Our two experts got the day off. So I'm going to go through. It's going to be pretty quick. I'm going to give you my advice, help you build your lineup a bit. We'll get started. We'll start with pitcher. Now, this is an interesting day. You've got a clear-cut number one. I think Hernandez is a guy you have to start. You look over his last 7 starts, he's averaging just under 9 strikeouts per start. He's given up a total of 8 earned runs over those 7 starts. He's earned 4 wins. And he's facing the Red Sox offense, which is not good right now. They're 29th in batting and 28th in runs scored in the month of June. None of them, really have great numbers in against Hernandez. They strike out a lot. They're 7th in the league in strikeouts. I think all of that points toward Hernandez being the number one play of the day. Now, as far as guys to pair him with, that's where it gets a bit interesting. There's a few ways you can go. The other top guys, Sale and Greinke, both typically good options, but they have tough matchups. Sale's playing Baltimore. They hit lefties well. They don't strike out a ton. I do like Sale a lot. Not sure in this matchup. And then you have Greinke, who's facing the Royals, who we know don't strike out a lot, and suddenly they're one of the hottest hitting teams. They're up near the top of the league in hitting in the month of June. So both of those options are pretty risky. I don't really like either of those too much. I think Simone is a pretty good option for a cheaper guy. He's been actually really good on the road. 2.66 ERA, 2.11 batting average against. Much better K rate on the road. He's facing the Cubs. They're hitting 225 against righties, 5th in the league in strikeouts. And Samardzija is pitching with them. But we know one thing about Samardzija. He has the 3rd worst run support, which means when he's on the hill, the Cubs don't really hit. So that's sort of a good thing for Simone as well. And then the other play I consider a bit risky, although I'm kind of leaning towards it, is Matt Cain. He has not been good this season, but my strategy recently has been to go against the Padres. They're hitting 170 in the month of June, and Cain hasn't been great, but he has been great at home. He's not giving up a ton at home, so I think that points towards Cain actually being a pretty solid play tonight. I'm really considering pairing him with Hernandez, but I think Simone is a good play as well. Back behind the plate, I'm going to go with the hottest guy, Jonathan Lucroy, hitting 365 with 6 homers in the month of June. He hits great against lefties. And Gio Gonzalez is a guy who, as Dave called last time he started, doesn't look like he's fully back. He's got a 5.46 ERA on the road. So I'm not necessarily stacking Brewers against him, but I'm not scared to get the good Brewers hitters in there today. So he's a good play. Over at first base, Encarnacion has 4 home runs in his last 4 games. We saw this in the month of May where he just got hot and he was homering, it seemed like, every day. So I'm going to look at this like he may be in the middle of a hot streak. I'm going to ride it. And he's facing Whitley, who has been good, but I think he's going to struggle. He's bound to struggle. I think facing the Blue Jays in Toronto may not be great for him. Also, he hasn't pitched deep into many games, and the Yankees bullpen isn't great. So I think Encarnacion, while he's hot, is a good play. Over at, if you want to go with a cheaper option too, I do like Matt Adams. He hits great against righties and is hitting good in Coors Field. So he's a good play. Over at second base, Robinson Cano is not somebody I typically like to use, but he's hitting well in June, and he's hit well against Lackey in his career. He's 17 for 55, so you got a bit of BVP along with a hot hitter. Now, he hasn't had much power all around, but he may be good for a couple hits tonight. Over at third and short, I think is where we're really going to spend money. Aramis Ramirez is almost a must-play if you've got the money. He's probably the hottest hitter going. 14 hits in his last 7 games. He's got 4 home runs over that span. He's crushing left-handed pitching, 324 with 4 home runs and 37 at-bats. Now, this may determine what you do with your pitching is, do you want to get Ramirez in your as two been ball well. He's had a solid June. Again, he's hitting at home where he hits 475. Both those guys have a good shot at a home run tonight. So, I may play it by plugging them in my lineup, going with Hernandez, and then seeing what I have left over. I may have to go a bit cheaper at pitcher. I may have to go with Simone. If you want a cheaper option, Brad Miller's very hot at shortstop. 11 for his last 24 with 2 home runs. Something's changed a bit in his approach. He's hitting 323 in June. I think, now that his price is depressed, I think it's a good time to get him, especially against a righty. If you can't get Tulowitzki in there. And then the outfield, I think this is a solid day because I don't really love the top options, but I like sort of a lot of the guys out of the next tier. I think Dickerson, a lot of things going for him. He's 11 for his last 22, hitting 358 in June. He's hitting 413 at home, 371 at righties. Those are all great numbers. That points to him being one of the top plays in the outfield. Billy Hamilton, having a great June. He is facing Samardzija, although in his limited at-bats against Samardzija, he has hit well against him. He's hitting 324 in June, 14 runs, 13 RBIs, 11 steals. He's got the most steals in the month of June by far. I think he's an outstanding play. Gregor Polanco, good cheap option still, hitting 381 against righties and 407 on the road facing Alex Cobb today. I think he's very solid. Brett Gardner is a good play as well. I think those are sort of, he's sort of an under-the-radar guy. I think he's a very, very good play today as well. So there's 4 good options in the outfield. None of them will cost you an arm and a leg. Not crazy about Bautista or Stanton. And then, guys like Jones and Cruz are facing Sale. So I kind of dip down into the next tier a bit in the outfield. That wraps up all the positions. Again, just to recap, Hernandez, top play of the day. You have to start him. I would pair him probably with Kane, maybe Simone if I need to save the money. Lucroy behind the plate. Encarnacion. Matt Adams, I think, is a solid option. Don't love Cano, but I like Cano. And then, like I said, Ramirez, Tulowitzki are the must-plays of the day, along with Felix Hernandez. So I would probably start my lineup with those 3 guys and see what that does to you financially. That wraps it up. I know it was pretty quick today. We will be back tomorrow. Have some more good stuff for you on the website, blog.fanmouth.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @PlayFanmouth. Thank you very much.